Hello, everyone. Welcome back to On the Ledger. I'm your host, Mo Sayed, and we're back once again on a Parisian rendezvous, this time for an exploration of education in the world of digital assets. At Ledger, as you may know, our mission is to empower you to navigate the world of cryptocurrency safely, focusing obviously on self custody through products, services, and of course, education. But as you know, traditional education can often be tedious and too theoretical, making it challenging for many of us to invest time in this vital, yet often intimidating and incentive lacking topic. So last year, we took a bold step into gaming in the metaverse with School of Block, which was the first school of its kind where you could learn, play, and earn rewards to become a crypto security expert. With over 300,000 players, 100,000 graduates, and numerous awards, this was, a pretty decent success. And the reason why we did it is that we wanted to make education more fun, engaging, and incentive driven. And we didn't stop there. Today, we're actually thrilled to introduce Into the Factory, which is our second Ledgerverse episode. This immersive experience aims to elevate gaming, storytelling, product exploration, and education to a new level. In this episode, we'll explore bringing Ledger's Factory into the metaverse, delving into the history of the company, meeting intriguing characters, and as a player, you're going to be able to create your own ledgers and face unique challenges to learn more about crypto security. But that's not all. You're actually going to be interacting with captivating content from some of our amazing partners, such as Deadfellas, Clay Nation, and Agoria, to claim exclusive rewards. Into the Factory is now live on the Sandbox until the end of the month. And today we delve into the initiative's backstory, its features, exclusive content, and hidden surprises with Max Vidal, co founder of Swipeback, and Fabrice Tarzinskas. Your family name is pretty hard to pronounce. I hope
Yeah, don't
I
worry, I
didn't
missed it.
torture it. So you're a creative technologist and producer. Swipeback has been our partner for about 2 years now. They're the amazing creative minds behind School of Blog, but they're also the folks that helped us build Into the Factory. And today we're really going to be diving into a variety of different things together. But first of all, Max and Fabrice, why don't you introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit more about Swipeback and about where you both came from?
Yeah, sure. So maybe Fab, I'll take it, and then you can follow up. So I'm Max, the founder and creative director of Swipeback. Basically, we're a creative studio, and we love finding the new mediums and the new way that a brand can tell his story or her story. What's interesting with this kind of format is that we're actually creating new jobs that you don't usually see in advertising, and it's particularly true for the work we did with Ledger. So we have a group of 20 to 25 talented people, ranging from your typical art director to quest writers, level designers, and this kind of stuff. So and also we have Fabrice the wizard, and I'll let him introduce himself.
Thanks for such an introduction. I'm Fabrice Starsgas. Even I butcher my own name, so it's fine. We met with Max over 10 years ago in a studio, in an agency called We Are Social, and we never stopped to cross paths since then. I'm lead creative technology and creative producer at Swipeback, and what is amazing about this position right now is the fact that you can have ideas, you can have clients that actually trust yourself. It's not even clients, it's more like partners. But when it's go, then you need to build it, then you need to make it understandable, doable. You need to get the team on and actually build the damn thing that nobody built before. And this is what makes the job exciting to me. And this is why every new project that we need to break ice on, something we never did before, most of the time I have the chance to be the lead on this one. So we did that for Animal Crossing, we did that for the Sandbox. And this is every day a new thing, and this is passionating, basically.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty interesting that the three of us started in the world of marketing and advertising, and we ended up where we are today. I, kind of, switched roles and became more of, working on the marketing side, and on the client side, as you guys say. And you guys have just made advertising evolve into what it is today. And it feels like the word advertising isn't suitable anymore, right? Because advertising is all about um, selling something at the end, which is like the end goal of whatever initiative that you're doing, whether even if you're building a brand and working on like the overall awareness campaign, there's always the sale that usually happens at some point, and the value that you're providing is very limited. Whereas when you think about what you could do within like gaming environments, you're actually providing a lot more value pre-purchase. Um, and the way we've thought about it at Ledger is that educated people end up becoming Ledger customers. So actually providing the educational value will lead to sale, but the objective of every single initiative that we do is not necessarily sales driven. Um, and that really like lays the foundation to the following question, which is like, what is the Ledgerverse and what was School of Block? And we kind of talked about that in the introduction. Like one of the biggest challenges that we faced while knowing that educated people end up becoming Ledger customers is the fact that education is in the Web3 space is tedious. It's often done using Web2 mediums, and it doesn't necessarily happen within the Web3 experience itself. You often learn about like Web3 outside of Web3, and then you're like, okay, now that you've learned about X, Y, and Z, you can go and experience, whatever platform by yourself. So I think that was like the initial insight that we came to you guys
Yep.
with. Maybe Max or Fabrice, tell us a little bit more about the Ledgerverse School of Block, which was the first episode, and about how you perceived that brief and experience from your point of view.
Yes, so maybe I can take this one because I really liked the first time we talked about this more, probably 2 years ago now. I really like the approach of we're not trying to do a one-time thing. It might be a one-time thing if we don't do it correctly, right? But it can also become a new way of learning. It can be a new way of educating, and it actually solves a problem. So it's kind of a hybrid marketing item, in a way you want to sell a product, but in the other way you're also providing valuable information, and it really completes your mission, that is to protect the users in the Web3 space. So the initial strategy for us was super exciting, and then we were like, okay, so what can we do, and how can we turn this complicated elements into something that's fun, engaging, and that won't be too complicated for people to navigate. So that was the initial point. And just one quick note: it's fun to see that we actually won globally marketing awards with this thing that was supposed to be a Web3 niche. In the end, it turned out to be an effective, an effective brand effort to do something interesting and valuable for the users. So I don't know how much in depth you want me to go into the how we developed the School of Block, but we really had initially this idea of creating a school, like Hogwarts in Harry Potter or something like that. Everybody can relate to this. It's like an American university or European university. You come here, there's some students, there's some professors, and very quickly you understand that there's more that you can find, more that's hidden in the experience, and it's only like quick bites of education. It gives you the core information. If you want to learn more about a given topic, you can always refer to the global Ledger ecosystem, the website. You've done some really nice videos in the past, and then you get challenged. And you have to graduate, obviously, like in every university. And there is some, I won't spoil everything because the map will probably be available soon. But you can take on challenges, some fights, gather some cool armors, and everything that makes the game interesting in the end. So
Totally.
regarding like the success, I think we did it. I think it was an interesting game and an interesting way to educate people.
I think what was really interesting, like even when we started thinking about it from the get go, was to go on Ledger Academy and see what were the 4 or 5 main pillars that we wanted every single beginner to be aware of when they started their crypto journey, right? And I think most of this content was educational content, and users were absorbing this education in a very passive way. They weren't an active participant in the educational experience. And when we, started thinking about how could we do education in a more Web3 native way, we're like, okay, what are the platforms that are currently available to us that enable people to experience the technology while they learn about it? And at this point, the whole conversation around the metaverse was taking a whole different dimension. Uh, and when we spoke, and when we did those first meetings with you guys, I was very impressed by your ability to take educational material, and transform it into a story arc, and bring in characters and bring in NPCs, and make sure that every single educational message that we wanted to hit was actually embodied by certain quests with different characters. And, you know, um, Ariel often says that people don't necessarily remember the education you give them, but more like the song that they like or the movie that they like. And I think when we start thinking about that, when we brought in the gaming factor into it, it was really connecting the dots between storytelling, gaming, and then education and Web3, all in like one experience that is driven by incentives. It's like it's not you're not just learning to learn, you're learning to actually like collect things and access experiences, which was fascinating. Fabrice, you're probably the mastermind behind most of the storytelling and character development things. Quickly, before we move over to into the factory, just tell us how you perceive School of Blog from your perspective, and then how does this create a link with what we're currently building, and what we've built actually, and we're currently, deploying on the sandbox.
What is interesting to me is that being also an actual teacher on the side,
You're
education
actually in
is
a
not.
classroom right now. Most
Yeah,
people
yeah,
don't
I
know
am.
that, but
I
you
am.
are.
I am. Do you want to see the blackboard? It's here. Yeah. Sorry for the fake thing. Being a teacher on the side, you don't tell people. You put the context in which people will experience by themselves and learn by themselves. This is the way things work. So we didn't try to make the best jokes or the best character, or we try to go from a UX perspective. In what state do we need the player to be in terms of game design, emotionally, in attaching the character, and from this particular experience and this particular target audience, develop a world around. Because we've got a lot of fiction, you take Netflix, you take whatever, they can pump up shows, AI-based scenarios, everything. Content can be made at an unprecedented scale. What we need is the tailor thing aspect of it. So starting from this particular journey, this particular brand, or particular relationship, this is where we stacked everything. And just for example, a quick the way we built the machines at the beginning, like the big machines, they were supposed to be foes. But the more we learned about them, the more we gave them the ability to roam inside, they became the guardian, the people that are with you. And for example, the headmaster of the school, Cassie, it was designed to be the shop owner. And then we realized that the robot with his British accent and that was more like the. So we kept the world living, and we kept iterating on it, and we gave ourselves the permission not to be obligated to trust our initial ideas. And when you start building world as system are variable, where an input from an intern, where an input from somebody outside of the team that's just playing in the map, having an idea and saying something and being able to make the world evolve. Like, I may be the mastermind of the system, but the people and the input people put in are what make the world alive and appropriable. So I talk a lot about systems a lot of the time, and this is absolutely valuable for the into the factory, because the map is huge compared to that, and then you can't be the only one person handling the system. You need to give the system, you need to empower people with the system in the world. And quick comparison with the Lord of the Rings, for example, before writing the Lord of the Rings, Tolkien wrote the Silmarillion. which is all the story of all the wars, of all everything, all the system. And once the system is done, then you can deploy story and you can allow people to bring their own story. This is where you got fan fiction and stuff like that. So building a system that is understandable but more than appropriable for new people to come, this is where you got a living world, and this is how we built from the ground up. This is what we designed the School of Block to be, and we are grabbing the fruits of that now, because the character we grew, we can put back in and in a grown-up form into the factory.
So you're basically creating bridges between those different experiences through the presence of these characters that will be accompanying the players from one map to another. And not only that, I think, to get back to what we were talking about a few minutes ago, like talking about like the advertising in a more general sense and marketing, we're saying like it very radical change of mediums. Like actually gaming becomes a medium for education, for brand awareness, for brand building, for engagement, for interaction, and CRM. And when you think about this point of being able to have characters that create that common thread between your different experiences, you definitely have the characters, but you also have what you collect. And I think what's super interesting is that, in School of Blog, what you guys came up with as a kind of a proof of knowledge type of collectibles was the Ledger Shield, right? Like at every single mission, when you complete one quest, you get a piece of the Ledger Shield. If you complete the whole map, you get the full Ledger Shield. And then that Ledger Shield is an NFT in your wallet. It proves that you've completed the first map. It proves that you were with with Ledger on the Sandbox at a given point on a given date. It's on the blockchain. And aside from that, you are actually identified as being amongst a specific group of people that can benefit from things down the road because they have that NFT in their wallet. And now that there's a second map, you guys are actually making that evolve, because you start off with your shield, but that shield is evolving during the game. Can you tell us more about the thought process behind character development and the link between the different experiences, but also the collectible element, and how that is really like interesting from a CRM standpoint?
Yeah, sure. So when we designed the first map, we didn't knew for sure that we would be doing a second one, right? So we put these characters and we started a story that can be way bigger than it actually is in the map. We actually hidden a lot of stuff that we didn't even use, and it's still like lying on the ground for people who want to try to explore. And yeah, we really wanted to be the start of a journey, a meaningful start that could be a standalone adventure, but something also that we can pick up for a second episode. And so this is what happened. And we really want people to pick up after what they've achieved in the first map. So they will arrive with a set of knowledge, right, and everything they've unlocked, and then it starts again. So they were supposed to be the true master of crypto security in map 1. Now they're the truest master of crypto security in map 2, and they're gonna learn new stuff around hardware. The character they've seen before is going to be completed by a new cast of character, but some character will stay, and maybe they have a bigger role to play in all of this tomorrow. Who knows? And yeah, it's supposed to be to feel like you just graduated from School of Block, and then you're drafted to go to the Ledgerplex, and then you're going to learn a lot of stuff, and you're going to get your skills tested again, and obviously your armor is going to be even shinier than before, So yeah, we're really pulling the thread of what has been done previously and trying to make it an even more bigger and more epic adventure. For the CRM part, so what's interesting with this is that we can tell that people completed either of the map or both experiences by the NFTs and items that they unlocked. So this is a proof of, we all call it a proof of knowledge NFT, meaning that it proves that people completed this curriculum and have been awarded with an on-chain diploma, right? This can be used in a funnel that goes way beyond the experiences. It could be used on the Ledger website, for example. You can tell, okay, this participant completed both maps, so he has an extensive knowledge on the hardware and software part of things. And so maybe it allows him to purchase a special ledger, or maybe it allows him to do something cooler down the line, And it really goes beyond what's happening in these experiences, and it really opens the field to even more creative outputs, but also things that are beneficial for the users.
And to get more into the factory, so we spoke about School of Block, we spoke about the different characters, the fact that you could port, your collectibles from the first map to the second map, and now we want to talk a little bit more about the second map. It's called Into the Factory. Obviously, it's a factory, Ledgerplex. It's Ledger's real factory, like the real name of Ledger's factory that is located in Vierzon. Vierzon is a town that's about a couple of hours away from Paris. Um, so, Fabrice, tell us a little bit more about the map and about how you thought about the whole build, because obviously the Ledgerplex is a real place, and you guys replicated a lot of things that are actually in the physical world. So, tell us a little bit more about the map and what's in it for the users.
The idea behind the Plex was to bring back some aspect of real world implications. So first School of Block was an island in the metaverse. You can relate emotionally to it, you bring people, but Ledgerplex is the way we bridge with reality, because you've got Lord Gadget in front of Ariel in the Plex, and then whatever we build is not connected to the real place. We can pay respect to the real people that do real work, real engineering work, real design work. And we actually came to Vierzon. We actually came to Vierzon to visit the whole thing, to get inspired. We've seen people assembling ledgers. We've seen the museum. When you go to the gallery, we've seen this exact gallery it is something to show the true nature of what's being built, because being security for immaterial things is super abstract, but we've seen the artwork that is being made, that is real, and it was necessary for us to build that. And also something you barely see in the Sandbox, the building is not aligned with the squares, so it was a pain. It was an absolute pain. Your building is like diagonal from every standpoint. So for Sandbox, it's not ideal. So we had to remodel everything. But it's like 1-2 story building. So we had all the liberty underneath to build whatever we want. And so we could reconnect from the wide variety of stuff. And quick note about that, but shout out to Jean that got the idea from the Swipeback team. We also, to get immersion on the map, we even got a list of animal species that actually populate Vierzon area, to remodel them in voxel, to have them roam around the thing. So it's like a permanent bridge between what's real in terms of concrete and what's real but in a digital form. And I think this is a statement that emotional, that knowledge, and that connection we build with people online, that ownership of digital assets are not less real than an actual building, than an actual place. And Ledger Plex is like the Into the Factory is a way for us to finally connect the dots to something that's really real. It's always been real, but we make a point in like, is it fiction? Is it reality? The emotion we have and the game we play makes a lot of knowledge and something real. And this is definitely what we wanted to achieve, like to bring all these people and characters together, and not say there is a digital version of it and an actual version of it. Everything is intertwined, and this is what Web3 is about. So that was definitely the end goal.
So, Max, why don't you tell us more, as a user, what will be like the different steps that you're going to be going through in the Ledgerplex, and what will you learn out of it? And I don't want you to spoil everything, but I know there are a
Yeah.
few like nice side quests and Easter eggs that people can expect. So don't give everything, but give us enough for us to be interested.
Yeah, sure. So we really took inspiration from pop culture, and you can find some James Bond elements and this kind of things. So basically, the way it happens, you just arrived. So it's a continuation of map one, but you can also pick up the story here. You're greeted by Ariel that tells you the basics, and then you're asked to enter the factory. In the factory, you're gonna meet key people at Ledger that has been heavily implicated into the production of and the way that ledgers are today. And then they're going to tell you a bit more about the manufacturing process in the hardware process. You're going to be able to visit a nice memorabilia museum of lots of ledger relics. We worked really tightly with the team, to identify which elements of the ledger's storyline is super important to be there. So feel free to let us know if you enjoyed these. And then once you've got all the theoretical knowledge, then things start to get a bit crazy. Like Fabrice said, it's in between the real life and the virtual realm. So then we get some crazy things going on. Without spoiling it, you're going to go down the rabbit hole quite literally,
Yeah, this is
and
some
be
Marvel
great.
shit.
Yeah, and be greeted by a giant robot rabbit that's going to give you a huge armor upgrade. And the point of this, is like really we go from the education phase to, okay, things are getting a bit goofy, but also a bit fun, but the education doesn't stop here. So then you're going to see how ledgers are tested in the lab. And then, yeah, up from there, it's like real gaming elements. It's crazy fights. You're gonna have to go through three main challenges. Hopefully, you'll learn a bit along the way on how this relates to the way that ledger are tested. Once you've done all of this, congrats, and then you have some nice partner quests and. Basically, we're working like Mo said at the beginning with Clay Nation, Agoria, Deadfellas. So it's also a cool way to integrate people that are key communities and key artists in the Web3 culture. And then there's going to be a lot of hidden secrets, obviously, but I won't tell anything about these.
Obviously, like the overall experience when the first time you guys presented it to us, I was really impressed by the amount of detail that went into it. From the characters that were integrated, from Nicolas Baca, who's a Ledger icon, co-founder of the company, and who's going to be like taking folks through the Ledger history, to Charles and Carl doing like the engineering part, to all the people that you've actually integrated from the Vierzon factory. And to Fabrice's point, like there's this merge between the real and the fiction, because all of these characters are merged within tons of other characters that are actually fictional, from the robot and the mentor, to the different characters that are being ported from the previous mat, to Archibald and the different characters that you'll face in the dungeon. And it feels like this is something that is happening on the sandbox, and will evolve from there down the road. And obviously the fact that it's on the sandbox provides us with the ability to integrate these other partners, right? Like, because Clay Nation has built an experience on the sandbox, Agoria has built an experience on the sandbox, that fellas has also built an experience on the sandbox. So what we've done is be like, hey, we've worked together in the past, we've done a few things together, why don't we bring our characters together and make sure that we can provide a few engaging quests for people to interact with both brand ecosystems and environments, in an in-game environment. Um, I was rambling and kind of lost my train of thought, but what I was trying to say is that it's so interesting, because ultimately those characters can end up taking people through other types of experiences on other types of platforms, and can become content in themselves. What we're doing on social media, for instance. You guys want to speak a little bit more about that, like how the characters are coming to life, and the different like social activations that we've done in School of Blog, but also are doing with Into the Factory as well? Because it's not only about gaming, it's just about like education obviously being at the core of it, and then creating this whole environment that is a gaming environment, but that can also be leveraged on to create content down the road as well.
Yeah, for sure. I can say a word about it. We're really trying to create impactful characters that you will remember. And like Fabrice said, it's a node to the actual people that work at Ledger. Mo is part of them, by the way. You can find him in the map. But it's also about creating, a lore. We really want to create a cultural element that people can refer to, and that is bigger than the way we use it right now. And we can probably tap into it on the side for social media, and maybe tomorrow we can tap into it to broaden the story. So some cool things that we did on social media, for example, is like we created a small contest where people could create an NPC. So this was more for the first map on the School of Block. People were asked to create their own little characters, using voxelized, which is the software that allows people to create assets for the sandbox, and they were integrated into the map. And as thing goes on, we really love to get community feedback, and in a really meaningful way, create quests with other communities was part of it. We've worked hand in hand with all these communities, got their feedback, and trying to create some cool assets for social media, and really, put the story out there, and hopefully have people get interested into the experiences.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely like something that we can leverage on in the future in a variety of different ways. All of like these kind of type of activations that enable people to actually become part of the story, right? And have their impact. Like last year when we did the golden armor Easter egg, it was amazing. Like having someone
That's
actually
hardcore.
like search for the seed phrase on the map and then find the golden armor, which was a one-on-one armor. So just to give the folks that are listening to us a little bit of context, we had the armor for the map, and then there was a golden one-on-one armor. Fabrice, you'll explain it probably better than I will.
Ah,
Please go ahead. You're the designer of this.
yeah, basically, it was a node to the trust that somebody would be determined enough to go into the deepest secret that nobody explains. There is always someone or someone's doing out of bounds. There are always someone breaking the wall. There's always someone. And so we know that because we are gamers, we watch speedruns, this is the part of our culture. And so we knew that a good game has an Easter egg. And so we knew that for us to elevate to the rank of not activation, but actual game, so a game that actually respects the players. For one of the example is for us is Zelda Breath of the Wild that just trust the players to be clever and curious enough to discover things on its own. And as soon as you trust the player to do that, it's one. So it was messed up around, like a lot of codes, a lot of hidden parts, but you had to follow a tedious process. And once decrypted, deciphered, you got all the elemental reset passphrase that gave you access to a wallet. The wallet has the one NFT and enough funds to transfer back the armor to yourself. And it was like a Web3 treasure hunt, basically. To me, it's still amazing that somebody actually find it because it's easy
It
to
was
design
really,
something.
really hard. It was super hard to define. Maybe
Yeah.
go a little bit into the specifics of where it was hidden and how it was. Because obviously everyone knows that you had like, seed phrases. That was a MetaMask seed phrase. So it was, 12-word seed phrase. But the seed phrase wasn't plainly hidden on the map. There was actually a mechanic through which you had to
Exactly.
decipher the seed phrase.
Basically, at the end of the quest, you had to finish all the secondary quests. Once finished, it opens a secret passage that you have to find. Once find, you find glasses, and glasses switch one element to another element in the bridge, then makes some text readable, and we actually hid the order of the keys in the architecture of the School of Block itself. So like I went like nobody's gonna ever find it, and somebody did. But
Yeah, and
the
when you say it was readable, it was barely readable, and
no, it
everything was
wasn't.
super hidden. Like none of this was
Yeah,
obvious. It actually took
no,
over a month for someone to find it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
I don't remember if we gave out hints or not, but at some point I think JJ started giving out a few hints, but it was incredible because how like people were engaged. If you think about like the amount of content that was created around this specific quest in itself, but overall around School of Block in general, it's pretty incredible, and it's great to see that people can actually enjoy themselves while getting educated and being rewarded at the same time, which goes back to like how we started this conversation around like storytelling, gaming, education, and Web3 coming together. um so what about the Easter egg for this map? Do we have one, or are we planning on like developing one?
We can't give hints right now, right? It's too
Yeah,
soon.
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
too
it's the
soon.
same team. It's the same team that built the first map, built the second map. So that's all I can say.
Yeah, yeah. Also there is we've got like this moment of first live access to the map, but Sandbox has been really hard at work on providing a solution like the famous 0.9 version that is gonna show up early next year, and this is gonna be a game changer for me as a builder, as a maker. This unlocks untold opportunities. And so, to be fair, we are waiting to build the most mind-bending thing with the new logic that is going to be available to us really soon. And so, yeah, just keep posted.
Well, I'm definitely excited about this, and before we go into the logistics of how people can participate, why don't you tell us what is your favorite thing about this map? It could be a character, it could be a mission, it could be an item, it could be a specific interaction, and tell us why.
The armor upgrade, I just love it. Like the design the artist did is inspired by like Gundam wings, this kind of huge mecha. We have You can check on social media probably. There's this little animation going on where like it arrives like a manga robot basically, and yeah, I'm absolutely in love with the new armor.
For me, it's Archibald. Basically, this is the most recognizable character we've been working on. He's got like two versions. The way you introduced to it is an idea that came down the road with the mini bald. Everything is perfect about it, and even the name of the rabbit is actually the name of Amber's rabbit, Amber's from our team, that is called Archibald. So
All
it
right.
has such a value, like to us, it's the way when you finish a game and there is this thank you for playing at the end, now we get what it means, honestly. Because when people play the game and when we see the time and time and things we did and the energy we put, the emotion we put inside, and we see people enjoying themselves, then I know, understand why people put thank you for playing at the end of the game. And Archibald is definitely one of them.
But Mo, you need to tell us what is your favorite thing of map 2.
Yeah, I probably have more than one. I think the gallery one is incredible because remember the call that we had like a few months ago with Nicolas Bacca, and for people to like kind of understand how we went about building this map, we actually met with a ton of different folks that um, had an impact on Ledger's history or were relevant with regards to the gaming environment, which is like obviously it's not a gaming environment IRL, it's Ledgerplex, but it's our gaming environment. Uh, so with Nicolas Bacau, he literally took us through Ledger's history in an hour, starting from his first company with which was BTC Chip, or his first product, and how that evolved into Ledger, and the story is his first Bitcoin conference, and the how each and every single like Ledger product has evolved in that time. And you guys did an amazing job at bringing that to life in the gallery part. Like you're actually walking through these different voxelized versions of the different products, and even included some of like Nicolas old t-shirts that he was selling in the first Bitcoin conferences that he attended. So I thought that was pretty nice. I love the voxelized version of the Ledger products, like the old ones. I think these are like amazing collectibles. I just want to collect them as NFTs. They're really nice. And then what else? I think the trailer is pretty nice. Uh, that was also like a cool idea of thinking about like how can we, highlight Vierzon. For the people listening to us, you probably never heard of Vierzon if you're not French, and even if you're French, you probably Vierzon is not like a famous town in France. So making sure that the town itself was like highlighted, and then this like kind of fusion between the physical and the digital came about, and in the trailer itself showcasing that, transition that's happening in the Ledgerplex is super interesting, and it was fun, like to ideate on, uh, and also the integration of all the people that work at the factory. Like there are so many different characters that will be on the map that are actually real people that work day in and day out, and manufacturing those devices and delivering them to different locations around the world. So that's just like a tribute to them. um so I think, yeah, these are like three things that I really like about this map. I couldn't choose one.
That's the thing, and more like everybody involved in Ledger or in this map, like everybody loves what they're doing, and I feel like it's tangible when you play it. Like from the creators to people that told us about the hardware to people that told us about the memories. Everybody is super passionate, and
Yeah,
it's like really a
it
pleasure to
shows.
work like this on something.
It
Yeah,
shows
incredible.
because it is what I call the charge artifact. It's like an Horcrux in Harry Potter. You put your soul into it, and it shows because the attention to details, the one-liner from people, the jokes, everything has been thought and thought and thought again, so that when people cross by, say they actually put the effort to actually do that, and this is what makes a difference, and this is what at Swipeback every project we try to produce is something that we want to have this itch of pushing the envelope, trying to do as best as we can, because it's not just work anymore. It's just producing something we love and we wish we had access to when we were gaming. We are still gaming, of course, but yeah, this is like respect the people. This is how we gain respect, is paying respect, basically.
I love that. How we gain respect is by paying respect. Definitely use that down the road. Uh, well, one thing that's really interesting is that, and kudos to the Sandbox people, is the fact that they will enable us to deploy these map and have them available for folks to play indefinitely, if I'm not mistaken. And that's going to be happening in 2024,
Yeah, early
if I'm not
2024.
mistaken.
Yeah,
In?
early
In
2024. We
early
just
2024. So like down the road, you if you're listening to this, you're gonna be able to play both of these maps in a way that really enables you to live the experience from the beginning to end.
Yeah.
But now what you can do is really jump into the factory right away. Um, and how can you do that? Can you guys run us through like the steps for people to join?
So basically, you just go into the map with a Sandbox account. So you need to have a wallet, create a MetaMask or any other wallet, but MetaMask is arguably the easiest to create something on. Then you create your Sandbox account, and then from the map, you can explore all the open events. There is a lot and more event actually. The world is really coming alive, which is something we've been waiting for a while. And if you just look at Ledger, then you'll be able to jump right into the factory through the map. And hopefully, as soon as possible, we'll have the verse that is always on uptime, and we're planning on keeping it alive, adding stuff down the road, and yeah, from there it's just building and building and maintaining and maintaining.
All right, guys. Before we wrap up, do you have any like tips and tricks to give to the people that will be playing this map in the next few weeks?
Yeah, I have one trick, and maybe Fab probably have some too, but definitely read whatever the characters tell you about the product, about the test, because it will really come handy when you have to face some more trivial situation in the game without saying too much.
Don't speed run it too much at the beginning.
Yeah, don't speedrun it too much for your first playthrough, definitely.
Yeah, I think I would say the same, because the first map we built, first user were like, maybe it's not gonna work because there is not enough combat, or they need more
Mm-hmm.
action,
Mm-hmm.
and we actually made one of the best retaining time, because people were actually into the story. So this is not just a collect and run map. It's a map that has been taken care to put a lot of effort in for you to get a lot of essence of what we truly believe in, and it should be appreciated this way. And if you look for challenges, trust me, there's going to be challenges down the road, but for now, just enjoy the quality of content that everything has been. It's like a documentary in the shape of a game. Honestly, it's it's really, really charged, and just enjoy it the way it is. And trust me, challenge is going to come down the road.
Well, I can't thank you enough, both of you and all the team at Swipeback. Actually, this is kudos to them. There's a lot of like creativity happening, in that like very cool space that you guys have. So, yeah, I'm definitely like looking forward to the next episode of the Ledgerverse. Uh, we don't know that where that's gonna be happening yet, but it's definitely happening, and just into the factory. Alpha Season 4 will be coming after this current event, so definitely a lot of things to be looking forward to.
And yeah,
Thank you for
for your
having us.
audience, just so they know, Mo is really implied in this project. We had a lots of fun and we worked a lot of together. So thanks, Mo, for your patience, but also all your cool insights, creativity, and so on.
It's good to be given the trust to pursue our ideas and to have you behind us and on the same side. It changes everything.
I appreciate that, guys. Fab, I'll always be behind you till the last minute, annoying you with last minute requests.
All right.
But yeah, I appreciate you guys, and yeah, looking forward to the future. We'll speak
Looking
soon.
forward.
Thanks.
Speak soon.
Thanks.
Thank you for having us.
That's it. Thank you guys for listening. Obviously, the Ledgerverse is something that you can experience right now in the Sandbox with Into the Factory. And it's really a groundbreaking approach to learning in the digital asset world. So if you believe someone could benefit from this, share the journey with them and help us make education more fun and rewarding. Explore the possibilities at sandbox.game/experiences. This was On the Ledger with your host, Mol Sayed. Till next time, take care. Au revoir. This content is provided for informational purposes only and is the sole expression of our opinion and should not be relied upon as legal, business, investment, or tax advice. Do your own research. Any loss or profit is your sole responsibility. Stay safe.